Hey bees, Marie here from Humblebee and Me, and today we're going to take a look at makeup. So we're going to look at some more of the recipes that are going to be in my upcoming book. I posted a video a couple weeks ago that showed me putting on sort of an everyday makeup look using a lot of powdered cosmetics, so a powdered mineral makeup and powdered blush and highlighter. And so today we're going to look at cream and liquid cosmetics. This is going to be another sort of very simple everyday look, something that I've actually been wearing out a lot lately because it's summer and this is just sort of bright and fresh and clean. So let's get started. I've already washed my face and moisturized, and I haven't actually put on any sunscreen because it's about 8 o'clock at night right now and I'm not going to be going anywhere. So the liquid foundation we're using, I'm actually currently doing a blend of the liquid foundation that I blended for myself last November and the liquid foundation I blended for myself in January, because I'm not nearly as pale as I was in January anymore because it's now July, but I'm also not nearly as tan as I was last November at the end of the year. So I've got two here. So I've got, this is the November one, the darker one, and this is the January one. So I'll just do some quick swatches for you so you can see. This is one of my favorite things about making your own cosmetics, is that you can custom blend your foundation as you need it. So there you go. Not a huge difference, right? This is January, this is November. This looks way too pale on me right now, and this looks way too dark. So we're gonna strike a little balance in between. I've just taken the lid off of the January one and then put a little daub of the November in there, and that is what we're going to be applying. So I've got a concealer brush here from Sigma, and I just really like this for sort of blending it together in the little pot here and then sort of doing a couple streaks on my face. I will blend it in with a different brush, but I've been quite liking this one for some reason, for some sort of creamy stuff. So I usually sort of go down the center of my face, out a little bit, and I think I might get a little bit more November in there because that's looking a little pale. So I'll sort of pick some up off the dispenser. So this is a squeezy lip gloss dispenser from TKB Trading, and I really enjoy them for liquid foundation as well. They're an excellent sort of format for that. I get my hair out of my face. All right, yeah, get a little bit more darkness in there. A little bit extra on the chin and around the nose because I know I'm not looking hugely flawless in those areas. And then we sort of just start shearing it out from the center. So this liquid foundation blends really nicely into the skin and layers up really well. And a bit more. You can already see though that my skin tone is significantly more even. So you can do this with your fingers as well, but I prefer the brush. You could use a sponge too, but honestly, I haven't used a sponge to do my makeup since I was in show choir and we were applying that Ben Nye cake makeup that you'd get at a theater makeup store on roughly as thick as pancake batter. They made everybody buy exactly the same shade of foundation. So, you know, we would all look like identical little sort of beige dancers from a couple 100 meters away, but up close, terrifying. And I'm just gonna get a little bit more through my chin. I've got a little sort of, I'm just gonna, instead of going for a proper concealer, I'm just gonna build up some coverage here by sort of dabbing it instead of sort of spreading it around and shearing it out. Because it just doesn't really require full concealer at this point in time. All right, so there's me with with just some foundation on. So it's a really light, nice finish, and you can see it's not terribly matte, but it's not really glossy either, so I'm really happy with it. And so up next, we're going to do a little bit of highlighting and a little bit of blush. So we're using cream highlighters and cream blushes. So I've developed all of these so that they use the same base. So this is, I call this one White Opal. And this one's Elle Woods. You can kind of guess why from the color. But so they use the same base and we just build on top of that. So again, this makes it super, super simple for you to make all your own cosmetics because you just make one base and then you can color it a ton of different colors. So we'll start with some white opal here. I'll give you a little hand swatch. You can join my foundation swatches. So you can see it's a nice bright one. This one doesn't look terribly great on women with really dark complexions because it does tend to make them look ashy, but it works really well on fairer complexions like mine. So I like to kind of go a little bit under the brow here, just a little bit, and then on top of the cheekbone. Get a little bit more. Other cheekbone. And just a little up here. And a little bit in the tear ducts. So if you wanted to put that on much more opaquely, you absolutely could. You could sort of build it up to what I've got on my hand here, or even more if that was sort of your jam, or if you're paler. Or you can also blend this so that it's not as white, or that it's whiter. You can tweak the ingredients, and I've put all the directions for that in the book so that you could really customize what you need. And then for a little bit of blush. So this looks crazy, crazy pink. It gets its pink hue from carmine. You can't really get this color with anything other than carmine, or FD&C red number 7 if that's something you are okay with using. But let's get a little bit of a swatch going on here. It's a wonderful pink, and I do find it's a little sort of 1980s, but it blends in really nicely, and I'm loving it for these sort of warmer summer days. I definitely have to be pretty sparse with my application of it though, otherwise yeah, you can definitely really channel the 1980s by accident. But it blends in really nicely, and I find with this liquid foundation, it ends up giving a really lovely, natural looking flush. And then something else that I love to do is just take a little bit of this and use it as a tinted lip balm. You can sort of see bottom lip has some, top lip doesn't. It's just a really bit of a subtle colored pop, but I absolutely love it, and I love sort of having my cheeks and lips match. And this is such a cute little jar that I'll just sort of throw it in my purse for touch-ups and whatnot during the day. All right, so there's that. Now we can move on to brows. So the brows is the same stuff that I had in the last video. So this is my Brow Wow palette. So I usually use sort of this end of the palette, and I'm going to sort of go with this one for now. And then I have a double-ended brush from e.l.f. that's got the spoolie end. That's a little dirty looking. And a little angle brush end. So I will just, see here, pick up some of this and comb it through my brows. So there's one brow done and one brow not done, so that you can sort of get an idea for it. You can really build this up if you want to, but I never do. Instagram brows are just sort of entirely too high maintenance for me. And sort of comb it out with the spoolie brush. And then something I'll do today that I didn't do last time is add a little bit of powder. So I've got just actually quite a dark powder here, so you won't need much. And so I've got this brush here, and so I actually got this from TKB Trading, and it was really inexpensive, and I've been really happy with it. I actually bought several brushes from them with the last order I placed, and yeah, they're shockingly good for something. I think they're like maybe like $3 or $4 a piece. So I just get a little bit on the brush here and sort of tapping it into the lid, and making sure that the brush has sort of been evenly rubbed around so that there's hopefully no sort of hot spots of pigment here. And then I'm just going to go in and sort of dust over my brows to sort of fill them in a little bit more. Again, I'm not going for anything too terribly sort of Lily Collins-esque here, but a little bit of extra definition is nice. And then I'll sort of comb through that to make sure it all looks good. Okay, so I am pretty happy with that. Really the only thing that's left now, okay, yeah, we're gonna do some mascara and then we're gonna do a little bit of setting powder. So mascara in the book, totally new recipe, not the one on my blog, doesn't require you to buy a bunch of weird kinds of Australian clay that you can't use for like literally anything else because, well, other than maybe like fabric dyeing, they're really, really dark. So this is the new mascara, and I have you put it in a pot so that you're adding your own water. There is some water in here already, but you add your own water to sort of fully hydrate it to get to really any consistency you want, making sort of like a lash gloss to quite a thick mascara. So we will kick things off by curling our eyelashes. And then we're going to get a mascara brush wet. And so this is one that I've clearly pilfered from a shop-bought mascara. And just like a little tiny bowl of water here. And I'm just going to get this a little bit wet here. And then go into our mascara and sort of start to work up a bit of product. Go for a little bit more water. Looking a little dry. If I was in my bathroom, I would just sort of run the mascara brush under the tap, but I am clearly not in my bathroom right now. My bathroom is not this clean and bright. And here we go. That is one coat, and I will let that dry and apply a second one. So with this mascara, you do need to make sure that you're sort of scraping any excess off the brush so that you're not bringing too much along with you. But it is amazing. The recipe, the quantities in this recipe are so small, and then you end up with a pot of mascara this big. So this is like a 10-gram pot of mascara. And most of the time when you buy mascara, it's like maybe like 2 grams. So this is a colossal amount of mascara, which is part of the reason why we're doing everything by weight, because, well, of course, it's significantly more precise. And when you're dealing in amounts this small, if you used an extra half teaspoon of something, that's a really, really substantial difference. Okay, so I think our first coat has probably dried, so I'm just sort of going in for a bit more mascara here, and we will go in for coat number 2. So this mascara, and nothing in the book is waterproof. That's not something that can really be done with natural ingredients. You usually sort of have a carbomer sort of plastic ingredient that sets after it dries that causes that's waterproofing, and so we're obviously not using carbomer in this sort of all natural DIY cosmetics realm, so not waterproof. I don't recommend wearing this and then going to see Les Mis in the theater with your boyfriend and his father. Not that I've done that. Put that aside, and then we've got a bit of setting powder. So I got a lovely sort of big fluffy powder brush. This is a Sigma 1 F20 large powder. I bought this online and I was just like, just give me the biggest powder brush you have. And I was like, this is it. So the setting powder is this lovely translucent powder. It goes on sheer on everybody. I've tried it on some of my darkest friends and it just sinks right in. Adora wasn't sure if it would, but it did. She's a professional makeup artist, so I very much value her input. So yeah, it sinks right in and takes oil with it, which is fantastic. So I'm not a particularly oily person, but to sort of dab that on to kill any shine. Since it is beautifully warm today, it was like 27 degrees Celsius today. It's been pouring for like 2 weeks, so I'm like, oh my goodness, 27 degrees? What is this? I can put on shorts! I need sunscreen again! Yeah, it's been exciting. Going for a little bit more. I don't have much product at all on this brush. I find it sort of best to have a low amount of product on the brush, and then you can see there's like, you can't even really see any white on there. So you just small thin layers work best. Okay, well, I say that's it. This is something that I've been wearing, a look that I've been loving this summer for bright, wonderful days, you know, going out for walks by the river, getting some ice cream, probably asking a stranger if I can pet their dog. So yeah, there you go. It's totally possible to make your own wonderful homemade liquid foundation and cream highlighters and cream blushers / tinted lip balm, the mascara. Thumbs up. Love the brows. Yeah, so this is all totally possible. I'm so excited about this book. I can't wait to share it with you. I just got the second round of edits back from my publisher, and it's looking so good. And I wish it was coming out like tomorrow so that you guys could all see it, but unfortunately it's not. So I have a pre-order notification list, so sign up for it. I'll put the link in the description box below, and I will send you an email when the pre-orders open, and then you can pre-order it, and it will, you know, come as soon as it can. And I'm so excited to share this book with you. I'm so proud of it, and I can't wait for all of you to sort of be completely free of the makeup world and just go out and make your own and never have to buy it again unless you want to, because Sephora is really, really fun, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't still go in there and occasionally buy things. But yeah, so this has been Creamy Liquid Looks. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time.